Welcome, everybody, to the Palumbo Soccer Podcast. It is Angelo Piccolo here, the co host. I'm joined by my co host, James Palumbo, founder, CEO. Well, not founder, president,
President.
CEO, El Jefe, as we like to call him here in the office, for episode number 3. And I hope everyone enjoys the new podcast setup. We worked very hard. Shout out to Nick and Alec for setting up the office here to make it look nice and wonderful. We have some great photos, some great memorabilia, and fitting for today's episode. James, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Angelo, great introduction. I'm proud to be here with my co-host, Angelo Piccolo, the Academy Director here at JPSC. And what I would like to do at first is thank Nick and Alec for their leadership with the podcast. I think they're doing a great job to put everything together, not only just the setup, but the behind the scenes work. Denise as well, who's continuing to do the editing on the last episode, and of course on episodes going forward. And of course you, spend some time chatting with you is always a pleasure.
Oh, thanks, James. It's a pleasure to talk to you as always too. But I think this is a great episode, a follow-up episode from episodes 1 and 2, where we had the founder, Joe Palumbo. Super informative interview. I think part 2 will be coming out very, very soon. But with this episode, we're going to be talking about the international tours, the international experiences. So as Joe's son, as someone who's lived here his entire life, I think you have great experiences with that, seeing everything from when you were a little kid to now in your role. Kind of want to just get how that has come about, how you feel about it, where has it been to where it's gone. So if you could just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So growing up within this structure, this academy, different camps, of course, not at this physical location, but being a part of the camps as a player, then soon a CIT, then also a counselor. Of course, I had the great opportunity to learn, not just from my father, but also learn about what we are here, what we're about, what we represent, and many opportunities come our way. And our always the mission and the purpose is to foster a great positive environment for the kids that come to the academy. And the reason why I'm so passionate about that is because I lived it, and living it and knowing that it had such an impact on me. That's always just a daily reminder. So we could go through many topics of the things that we do here, from the teams to the academy to programs to the facility, and how things have grown. And I think today's focus, with it being the international experiences, there's a lot to tell. There's a long story there about, from in the last episode, how I was quoting my experience with the Italian national team and meeting Roberto Baggio and watching it. That was like the kickoff of my passion for the game. But at that time, at that time, we weren't as connected as we are now, through technology and countries, and everyone's, at least geography should have improved since I was younger, because I think people lived more in a bubble, and like, okay, you were in this town and things weren't so possible to travel or to expand. Sorry, no worries.
The door, the paint's still fresh because it's oil paint.
Okay.
So I'll say maybe what time is it now? Around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Lock it, just touch it. Because if you touch it, I'll feel like wet.
Okay, so just lock both doors.
Yeah.
That one and this one.
Yeah,
I'll make sure that no one goes in.
I'll let them close it down, okay?
All right. Thanks, Luke. So, guys, this, as I said, there's many things going on here at the academy, and there's various hats being worn. So that's one on the physical structure of the facility. But going back to the international experiences, and as a kid, and growing up I was fortunate to be exposed to the greater scheme, or greater global countries and things where maybe some of my friends and people as I was growing up weren't really in that situation. So nowadays, as we're connected, way more on technical side. There's way more opportunities, and it's really important for us to respect and to have that global vision. So going into not only my playing experiences, but for the purpose of this podcast, talking about what we create here at JPSC. When I first started coming back into the business and working with my father after finishing my playing career, I had the opportunity to quickly experience some tours to Italy and going there with various kids that were in different high schools, and it was more creating teams from players from all around a few different towns to go and have this experience playing against AC Milan and Brescia, Fiorentina. The names can keep going. Empoli, with great experiences. And from my side, especially at that age, I really enjoyed the experience because I got to witness the players firsthand in a new environment in a new country, and how they just. I haven't been on a tour where the kids are like, "Oh, I'm bored," or "I don't really like this." They're just exposed to something new, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And so that's when I first had my personal experiences with international tours. To give some history on the international perspective, as us as an academy, we started when I was still in college. I believe in maybe 2006,
Yeah,
2008.
I was just gonna say, because there's a lot to dissect of what you were just saying, because the first international tour was my team that I played here for with the Cosmos.
Love
A lot of
that.
those guys, I wasn't fortunate enough to go,
It was a
but I wanted to
combo
bring.
trip.
It was a combo trip.
Virginia, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There, Ethan. No, not Ethan. There was a guy. Oh, my father's gonna be disappointed with me. But Steve, he's a goalkeeper, and he ended up, I think, playing in the MLS. We'll fact check the name, but yeah, there was 8 kids from Virginia and 8 kids up here,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
Yep,
combined and
that
went.
combined.
Go ahead, tell us
And
about.
so I wasn't fortunate enough to go. But that's what I wanted to ask, was like, when did this start? What was the vision? How did this come about? I guess because a lot of people who are more recent to the club have just been like, oh, JPC and JPC, they do these tours, but not a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
like
people know
automatic.
like what went into it or how it came about. So I want you to just maybe touch on that for a little bit.
I think the vision. I think it's important to acknowledge the people that are involved in making things happen. I think that's like, for me, it's my belief, and it's really important to have good people from various either backgrounds, interests, and skills to develop experiences like this. So like starting off, of course, there was a connection. It's the birthplace of my father. So going back to Italy was like a no-brainer of like, let's create this opportunity. We want to go there and we want to expose the kids to going to Italy. And of course, he's excited to go to Empoli or to AC Milan or whoever, whatever clubs that there are. And I'm talking about the soccer, but then there's the food and the sightseeing and everything. So I think that the people that have created the opportunity through Gian Domenico Costi from the very beginning, and that's a guy that was instrumental in creating these tours and creating this
And
opportunity. He's an ex-pro. He used to play for AC
I was just
Milan. He
gonna ask.
played with, I believe, Gullit, Van Basten. I think he was
Those
there. He
prime
was there
Milan
for 1
teams.
year or 2 years, something.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure, but he had a long career. He played for Modena. But he's a great person. He became very close with our family, and we were able, through him and my father, were 2 leaders in creating the first experiences going to Italy. So they ignited that first experience, and then from there it goes with feedback from the people that have gone, building connections, building more opportunities in Italy, and then more people know about it. And once it's successful, people are further interested. So there was some years maybe we didn't do it, some years that have taken breaks, and different age groups that we've done. Mostly when in the beginning it was the older age groups, but more so we've been getting even younger and younger as recent of the tours that we're doing now. So just to share, the vision is more of the people that are involved, and like as I'm saying, Portugal now, with our partners Marcos and Christine Ariano, that was the next initiative, next kickstart. And now from there, going and being exposed in Portugal, meeting, sharing your passion, sharing what you do, and hey, we can do this or we can do that. And so then that comes to fruition, and now we have aspirations in Spain, and making connections and building and talking with people. Okay, we can do that. And not just because we want to do these things, just to do them, but we can learn. And that's the most satisfying part, is the educational piece, for everybody that's involved in the experiences. You can learn on the field and off. So
Yeah, I think that's great that you touched on that, because my next question was going to be like, what is the purpose of these experiences, these tours, in your view as the president, as someone who's wearing so many hats? What do you want these kids to get out of it? Not just from on the field stuff, as well, off the field stuff, the parents that go with them. What is the whole, as a whole, what do you want this experience to be for these families?
it's a good question. I I want uh, I want them to feel the experience, and not speak for them to say this is how you should experience it and this is what you should feel when you go there, or this is what I want to create the opportunity for their own emotions and their own feelings to happen when they go there. But to give maybe a summary on some of the experiences that we've had from feedback from players and people is enjoyment. I think this is the first and most important thing, is to enjoy the week. And some players may get nervous. Some families are a little stressed and looking in the transportation and going. I mean, there's a lot of logistics involved in it, and that's why we need to be professional, organized, responsible, and the experience that we have helps. And the people that we have responsible. It's very important that we have everything covered in order for people to enjoy it, in order for them to embrace where they are, who they're meeting, what they're doing, what they're seeing, capturing photos, and enjoying the food, sharing either enjoyment or maybe not so much enjoyment, because we've had those situations where the country of Italy, yeah, you're happy about the food. Sometimes people don't like the food, or some people don't have that. So not everything is miraculous, and it's going to be like it's the everything is great because I'm in this new country. It's more of have an open mind. And then also respect. Respect for me is an expectation here in the academy. And then also, of course, if we go internationally, we just did a trip down to Virginia with the Jefferson Cup with the kids. They just went down to Tampa for a tournament. These kids are going to Arizona soon. Then this coming trips coming up are going to be in Portugal. Then in Italy trip in August. So like JPSC is being represented all around the nation and also internationally, and our values need to be represented. And so like my hope is that they enjoy the experience, and that they get excited and they grow their passion for soccer. And my expectation is attitude, effort, commitment, and then they give their best. They give their best effort, and they play at whatever level they can there. So keeping the core values of JPSC and JPSA when they're abroad or whenever they're in those experiences is an expectation as a president, and my wish as a friend, and someone that has experienced it as well, is that they enjoy it and they're excited.
Yeah, and speaking from experience, we just went in last August, with the 2010, some 2010s, some 2011s, some 09s that I was fortunate enough to be on that trip and coach and experience it. And for me, I think what I liked for the kids to take away from it is to see just a different culture and see how fortunate some of our kids really are, because we were up in Montecatini, we were training at a facility, and some of these kids that we were playing like are riding their bikes 15, 20 minutes to practice and then practicing for an hour, and it was smoldering hot that week. We had the hottest week ever. Tour guide was like, "Hey, you're in for one this week." But then they would train, and then guess what? They would have to hop back on their bike, ride their bicycle back home, and then either go to work. I was talking to the tour guide and the local coach there, and he was like, "Yeah, some of these kids have to go to work after training, or they have to do homework." So like even that, like kids were like, some of the kids that went on the tour were just looking at us like, they're looking at me like, "Is that for real?" I'm like, "Yeah, guys, like mom and dad here, they help you out. They do a lot for you." And some of these players here are not as fortunate. So it's like even to get like that humbleness, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It was great. And also, like you said, the food, the sightseeing, I think we do a really good job. Everything was so structured, everything was so organized. It's one heck of a trip. It beats you up, tell you that much. 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, it's just on the go, but it's awesome. So you had mentioned that we have gone to Modena and Empoli and all these different places. Do you feel that from your experience, one specific experience really stood out to you from whether you went or from that parents have told you? Like, where specifically do you think you've gotten the most feedback from?
Feedback from the club
From
about the
from our parents,
players,
from our
or
families,
from
like,
our
hey, like this club was great, this area was great, this spot was fantastic. Like, where what area do you think was you had the most positive feedback on?
Phew,
There's a lot, I know,
there's a lot. There's a lot in the
and you can say
experiences and
multiple.
the
It's fine.
trips. I mean, I'll give you one that was a situation where flights and travel and things, traveling is gonna potentially come with surprises at times, and certain accidents or things that you have to manage and make adjustments. I go way back a time where the group had to separate and because of the flight situation and making it to the flight, and it was a very challenging moment to from a leadership and a management situation. The families, everybody was safe and fine, but we had to go on different flights. But in order for the group to go to the flight, they had to drive to go to another flight flying out of Switzerland. But they went through like a drive through the Swiss Alps, and everybody's feedback was like, "Oh my gosh, the drive was amazing!" Like they looked at the view, and I'm just giving this experience to you because that was not supposed to happen, but it happened, and that was one thing that was memorable from them. Another one would be overall the sightseeing. Most people are impressed with the facilities that the kids are going to. Off the top of my head, that one, the Swiss Alps, really sticks out to me. There was another time when we played against Atalanta, and it was in the northern region. I forget now the club that we went to, but we were driving, I think, in Bergamo or I forget the name, but we were driving in the northern parts of Italy, and the drive and the restaurant that we went to and the place that we looked out to, there was like we were in a mountain basically, and all of a sudden we parked and nobody saw anything, no building, no nothing. Like we're like, what are we doing? And we were like, no, we're going for lunch. And then they went down the steps and went to the right, and all of a sudden there was like this building that came out of the hill, and it was like a pizza place, and the view out was like vineyards, and the parents and the kids and everybody was like, whoa, this place is amazing.
It's
So
amazing.
from the sightseeing, and then from a soccer perspective, when that moment that we went there, we played against Atalanta, we lost 5-0 or 5-1. I think we scored a penalty, but you could see, I always tell this story that some of the parents, we played 2 games that day. The first game they played and they won, and then they played Atalanta second. And some of the parents were like, "Oh, if we played Atalanta first, it would have been closer." No chance. Atalanta was much stronger, and the way that they played, it was a great experience for the kids. And we went into the locker room, and some of the feedback from the players was really, really good. It was like, wow, I was impressed with this kid. I was impressed with that guy. And um, I think that really sticks out to me when I hear things like, wow, a respect for different levels of soccer, or the things that they see, or the food that they're experiencing. So those are just a couple, but
Yeah.
there's too many.
Yeah, a lot. And to touch on your last point, that was great for me when the other coaches would come up and point out certain players from
Yeah,
our squad.
hey,
Like,
this
hey,
one I
this
like.
one was really
Yeah,
good. I
for
really
sure.
liked the way he was composed on the ball, or I like his movement, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But now to really get more in depth with the tours, what can families expect who have not been on a tour before? What can they expect? What are they signing up for? I know we touched on it a little bit, but kind of go a little bit more in detail on like how the tours are structured.
So the tour. So we have. If I could go back just a little bit with our international partnerships as well. So we have a partnership with JP Stars, and the lead people in partnering with in JP Stars is Edgar Sa, who's right now coaching in Saudi Arabia with Al Shabab.
Just then
Just
he
played
just
against
played against
Cristiano
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ronaldo,
Yeah, not a big
and
deal.
yeah, no
Not a
big
big
deal.
deal.
But yeah, we talked daily, and he was most recently coaching here in the fall. So I mean, it's a little bit of a downgrade going from JPSC to
Yeah,
El
I
Shabab,
agree.
but now, so Edgar Sa and Manuel Ramos, Nene, we like to call him, and he's also the assistant coach of the Kuwait national team right now. So, two top professionals, and have had a tremendous career growing up in Portugal through the game, and professional coaches that we've built a strong bond with, and have created this JP Stars partnership with a vision on the individual trainings. And we're aligned with our mission, and to develop youth athletes uh, on the field, off the field, but mostly with JP Stars' project is an individual focus. So kids play on other teams or clubs, especially in Portugal, and they'll come for training sessions. So with JP Stars, we've created a partnership to have not only tours, but also competitive tours. So we have experience tours and competitive tours. Um, with the experience tours, they are more friendlies. So we'll go to a week. Anyone who's going on a JP Stars experience tour will experience a week long training and competitive soccer play in either Portugal or in Italy. And they will experience around 2 to 3 training sessions, sometimes more, sometimes less. But they will definitely have 3 friendlies, and those matches will be against local clubs within the area and within the destination that we've gone, whether it's in the northern part of Portugal, more middle region, or the southern region, or same in Italy, wherever the tour is based out of. Like in the summer, this coming in August, we're going to Verona, and in that region we'll have 3 local scrimmages against the clubs there. Now, the games that are arranged are according to the level of the players and the team. So we rely on our coaching staff here. We rely on the honest level of the team, but then even in some cases sharing video footage with JP Stars, and then matching up the club scrimmages as best as possible. There are times where we set up an opportunity with clubs at the top level, like I said, AC Milan or Empoli at the time in Italy, or Benfica or Porto and Sporting and Braga, and those are very, very challenging experience tours. So the level of players and level of team for an experience tour playing against those competition needs to be at a good level. But they have all levels, and that's like, for going back to the experience, anyone can go on the boys, the girls side. The girls game is growing tremendously around the world. in Portugal especially. Italy also has been making strides, but Portugal especially in the most recent years has been doing tremendous work on the female side. So on both genders, the experience tours are for everyone: the players, parents, and also siblings or whoever would like to join and be there. The competitive tours are tournaments, and so like this coming end of June into July, we're going to have a tour through the Challenge Cup in the Algarve in Portugal. So the teams will enter a tournament and they play 4 days where they're going to be arriving on the 24th. They're going to have an opening ceremony with teams from countries all around the world, from Brazil, Argentina, Africa, of course, countries within Africa, and Europe, all over. So they do an opening ceremony with flags and representing different countries and different teams, which is super special. And it's a great feel. It's a nice welcome for all the kids. And then they go day competition. So it's a 3 to 4 day competition with, of course, winners on the end. And then this coming trip, the competition tour usually ends with either a stadium tour or something towards the end before everybody leaves. So more or less, you're going to experience competition against youth players, training sessions in Portugal and Spain or in Italy, and you will, of course, embrace the culture. So sightseeing, food, and also while you're out and about, meeting the people that are in that country.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's awesome. I'm speaking from experience for myself. It was my first time out of the country. It was the first time going back to Italy, and as someone who experienced the experience tour, it was awesome, and I felt like it was a good balance of getting to enjoy the country and the culture while also incorporating soccer. So not only do we do, sorry, James, you wanted to.
Well, I was just going to add, and unless you're touching on it, I was going to say not only the tours and we also do individual and small group experiences. So
That was going to be my next thing. We actually just had some players go to Portugal
yep,
and do some training.
yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
yep.
With Boavista.
Boavista, yeah, Boavista is in the first division in Portugal. I think in 10th position right now, but Boavista has a long history and some good players throughout their time were present at Boavista. It's one of the top youth academies in Portugal. It's very competitive, and we were fortunate to have 5 of our players from JPSC go most recently and have a week-long training experience with the U14 team of Boa Vista. At that same time period, we had 2 other players from JPSC, which we'll touch on. Karina Ariano had an experience with Benfica, and Anthony Ascenso, who's in Portugal, had a few training sessions with JP Stars, which, as I said, we have this opportunity. Anybody who's going into overseas, if they're not with a team, they can have training sessions with JP Stars. So the 5 boys who train with Boavista are currently on our 2010 team. This experience comes of course, Edgar being here throughout the fall, having a very close relationship with the team.
And who were, if you don't mind, sorry to interrupt, but who were the 5 that went?
The 5 players were Adrian Vieira, Emmanuel Racinos, Justin Contreras, Sebastian Calderon, and Brendan Loperino. And they were part of that team that was training in the fall, and of course having a season in the fall, a very successful season in the fall. And Edgar was the coach of the team, so he spent a very close time with them, not only with the team but also doing JP Stars experience training sessions while being here. And when we have these experiences, the level needs to match. So the faith in the player to be well represented with Boa Vista and our JP Stars representatives are important to us. There needs to be a match, because if there's a representation of a player going to a club and the level is a little bit off, it's fine. You know, the communication goes, but in a way that everybody is understanding that maybe it's not the best fit, but the confidence that Edgar has in the players to have this invitation and have this experience, and then the feedback was very positive. So not only did they train with Boa Vista, I've also blogged about this a few weeks back, just about everybody who had that experience that week, and the players that went, they also had an opportunity to train with Sporting's home base in Alfanense. There's a club in the northern portion of Portugal, which Sporting, of course, is in Lisbon, but they have satellite clubs and places around. So on their off night, they went and trained with them with the U15 age group. They did very well with them, and we're waiting for a report back from that club. And then we will be receiving a report back for Bovista. The coach that was with them for the U14s will be providing feedback on the overall experience from all 5 of the kids. But before we do have those reports, I was firsthand able to witness the whole week experience, and also build close relationships with the coaching staff and the directors at Boa Vista, following a full stadium tour of Boa Vista and the facilities and everything. But the feedback was very positive, that all the boys were at the level of the U14 teams there, and they can tell that they have been trained well. They can tell that they have a good soccer, football IQ. And there's, of course, things each one of them can work on, which will be in the report. But hearing that feedback here at JPSC is important to us, so that like these players that are going there, this level, it's considered a high level of youth training, and the feedback is, okay, these kids are doing well, and the education is is going well for whatever school that they're in. Okay, our technical staff, for me in my position, to hear that, I'm proud. I'm proud that our technical staff is doing a good job with the players. Yeah, of course.
We're doing something right.
Yeah, of course, of course. And well, I would say that we're doing something that is validified or credible by people that are practitioners, people that live the game, and people that are constantly improving as coaches and improving. Like, we can get into a whole nother conversation about how serious and intense things are from a player standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, from a club administrative standpoint when it comes internationally. But the way they take the game, and each player, the way they look at things, the credibility that you're getting by them saying they're at the level is very high, because I know the work it takes to be those type of coaches or practitioners that are working in, let's say, for this experience, Portugal, but it could be in Italy, Spain, and France, and beyond.
Now, with these training tours, are they just training with the team? Are there games involved, or is it strictly just 4 days training with the team, getting that experience with a professional academy?
Yeah.
And seeing the day-to-day, how it's run, what the coaches do, what the players do, etc.
So this one was training. There's been times where they've been invited for friendlies and competition. It really varies whether between, if it's a friendly or competition. Like, they cannot play in competitions, they need to be registered, they need to be valid amongst the team. It's like a player from Portugal can't come here and play on Sunday against a local club. So any competitive games, no. Friendlies that are set up, yes, but it depends on the schedule. So like this week, Bovista had no friendlies. It was their week of training, and they did Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday was a gym and film session. Monday was a on-field training where they were also recovering from the weekend because they had a game on Sunday. So they did some calisthenic work and stretching again before and also after the practice. And then Thursday was very intense. It was probably the most intense practice of the week. And then Friday was more preparation for the game, which was then the game was on Sunday. So from a witnessing of matches standpoint, they were able to watch a professional third division game, which was awesome to see, which was Lurosa against Academica, which they're in the playoff bracket to try to get promoted up. So the way they did, how they were in the fall, put them in a position where there's like 5 or 6 teams that are fighting, and one of them is gonna move up. So it was a first and second type thing, full stadium. It's a smaller stadium, but full stadium, and a really nice atmosphere. Lurosa ended up winning the game in like the final moments of the game 2-1. So it was really nice for them to see that, and it was good. You're not seeing first division football, but you are seeing how intense the level, the quality of the field, the quality of the facility, the security, the passion of the fans, the attendance of the fans, and we're talking Division 3. So that was something that was really like first time for the kids to be like, whoa, like this is Division 3, and it's like, yeah, Division 3 is a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand that too, or maybe some do, but we were fortunate. We went to the Milan Torino game when we went, but sometimes those lower division games are way more intense because
Dangerous sometimes.
it's exactly or dangerous, but it's way more intense. I mean, to get promoted, some of these fans haven't even seen their teams get promoted. But we can have another
Conversation about that.
That could be another podcast. I mean, another episode. You had mentioned two other players, Karina Ariano and Anthony Asenso, that went. If you could talk about their experience, what they did, because both were different, but still more along those, I would say, that training
Yeah, so
of a
Anthony,
tour or
so Anthony
experience.
is a mix. So Anthony, I mean Anthony and Karina are cousins, and they also have strong ties and connections in Portugal. So Anthony was going more on a vacation experience for the week, and then we were able to match his time away from school and just to get away with also he wants to play, he wants to train, he wants to be involved with the ball, and with JP Stars. So we were able to organize on 2 different days. Anthony to be with a JP Stars trainer there. Diogo was actually leading, which
Shout out
was
Diogo.
great. We got to shout out Diogo.
He'll be back soon.
He will be. We're very excited. And so they did. He did very well, and Diogo was very happy with him. His feedback to me on a personal side was good, and I'm glad to hear that. And it was beautiful weather the 2 days that they did the training because the rest of the week was very rainy. But yeah, so to touch on Anthony quickly, we're fortunate to be able to create that type of experience while he's thousands of miles away. But JPSC is there. JP Stars is there, for a training session. So I think 100% it was a positive experience, and I'm glad Anthony was excited to do it, and we were able to manage it. And then for Karina, it goes back before I get into the week of her training and being there. I think Karina has been growing her Portugal soccer playing experience. And we have to go way back to our partnership with Benfica. And SL Benfica is the top club in Portugal, along with Porto and Sporting, which
I
would
was
be
just
the
gonna say you're
top
gonna have some
three.
Sporting and Porto fans not
We
happy
have
with
to
that
be,
statement.
we have to be careful.
One of the top.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very political here. So those three are at the top. I'm very diplomatic, so
Have to be.
that's my nature. There, we are red at JPSC, so I'll leave it at that. But
He's not saying which side he leans on, but
JPSC is red.
there you go.
Anyway, Benfica, we developed a strong relationship with Benfica as a club, and this goes back when we first started the tours and international experiences going to Portugal. And as I mentioned, Christine and Marcos before, um, uh, creating that partnership here at the academy, not just from a day-to-day leadership standpoint, the way we are from on a personal level is able to create these experiences and create growth and productive opportunities for the not just the people here in the academy, but the staff, everyone. Things have grown. So I would like to first acknowledge both of them and their efforts and their constant support of expanding the JPSC vision, and that's a big reason why we're able to first get into Portugal, organize the first experience in tour in Portugal, which was run through Benfica. We went to the training facility, Caixa Football Campus, that Benfica has there, with dormitories where from U13 and up, the kids, they stay there, they have a school there, they live there. They've been selected from all around the world, mostly within Portugal, but the setup, the facility and I'm not being biased, it's the best in Portugal. And then second to Benfica is Braga. Braga, we just went there a year ago, and Braga's facilities are absolutely incredible. I was so amazed
Yeah, you
by
sent
it.
me a bunch of videos and pictures. It was insane.
Yeah. So going back to that tour, we went there. We went to the stadium. We did so many things that were excellent for the kids on the tour, and then from there, meeting people like David Gomes. We have now Pedro, who has been here for multiple experiences here at the camps. Joao, we have many people that we've met inside the company or the club of Benfica, where, and the reason why I mention the names is because I don't, when I speak with them, it's a very large club, but I feel very connected to them, and it's very intimate. So it feels very much like how we are here at JPSC, which is great. And so through that partnership with SL Benfica, we created the camps here. And the camps have been so great, and they've been so much fun, and they've only grown. We had to take a break during the COVID year, unfortunately, but then we recovered from the COVID year. We had a Benfica camp. We had over 125 kids here for the Benfica week, and it was fantastic. It was amazing, and it's because of the leadership of the coaches that are coming here, extremely professional, and the way that they're looking at the players. I mean, I cannot tell you how many kids at the camp Pedro said he would play on my team, and I think he would fit there, or she would fit 100% within this age group or that age group, and they have many divisions into Portugal. So the feedback, hearing that from coaches that come from Portugal, and this is the coaches from the academy, and looking at players here in that we have in the camp, is great to hear. Number one, and this is the beginning of Karina. So Karina was here at the camp. The coaches came. They identified Karina at the camp, and from there, these opportunities, especially with Benfica, have come. She's had experience with a few other clubs in Portugal, but the main club is Benfica, and she's not only gone for training experiences. She's played in a match against a younger boys team. I was fortunate to be there and witness, and it was very challenging. And I mean, she was playing again. There was this boy right now that is 2012 in Portugal, and he's the best player in Portugal by far. And what I've seen is, I was absolutely amazed watching the match. Her age group was 1 year older, playing against the boys, but that was her first like experience playing with Benfica in a game. But it wasn't an official game; it was just a friendly that they created. From there, they invite her back to go to the Donosti Cup, and the Donosti Cup in Spain, where the main stadium or the host of the event is Real Sociedad. So she went there this past summer with Benfica, and she won the tournament with Benfica, and they played the final in the Real Sociedad Stadium. And as a president of JPSC, but also what Karina means to me, it was amazing. It was amazing, really, to see her play in the game, first of all, win the championship, and what she was exposed to was so great for her personal development and also playing development. So, from that experience, the communication has been constant of keeping tabs and how is she doing. And there's some more information on the Portuguese side about Karina, which we're not going to talk about on this call, but there's a or this episode, but there's a lot going on, and we're very, very proud of her. So being invited back this week, she went for I think 6 in total training sessions. This week was even another step up and another amazing experience for her, because she had the training experience with Benfica, And then she also had a training experience with Valadares, which is the women's first team. So she was playing with women, well, young women who are 15 up to 31, 32 years old, which is a great experience for her. She trained there 2 days on, I believe it was Wednesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Wednesday of the week, where Benfica had a break. And the way that the thing that I'm most proud of her about is that if somebody was walking around me to look onto the field, they wouldn't have said, "What is that little youth? What is that little 13-year-old doing out there?
Mhm.
What is that? Why is she out there?" What, they would have had no idea that there was a 13-year-old out there, because she fit. She fit. She played. She contributed. Of course, there's a difference in physicality. There's a difference in many things, but she's able to play. And since she's able to play at that level, there's a difference to be able to play and then like compete. She would not have been selected for the game on the weekend. She's nowhere near the level for that right now. And at the same time, she was able to play with them. And some other people may not be able to play with them. And that's credit to her soccer IQ. That's credit to JPSC and all of the coaches that have been involved in her development so far. So, yeah, she had that experience. She had an experience with SL Benfica, and to close the week of her having a successful trip with Benfica, they want her to go back to the Iber Cup in the end of March for the Easter week break. They have a tournament in Portugal, and she's going to be there with SL Benfica with the U14s, the 2010 team, because they're going to be playing, I think, U14 and U15, and she's going, and the U15s are going to another tournament. So, yeah, Karina had an amazing weekend along with the boys, which is awesome, and we're proud of her. Going back to the boys, before you go on, and I know that I'm talking and talking and,
No,
and,
this
and
is
sharing a
great
lot,
because
and
there's so much information that a lot of people don't know that you need
yeah.
to get everything out there. So I think you're doing a great job. So continue. No interruptions for me.
Okay, so a little to close on Karina, as I mentioned on the boys, on the professional game that they went to witness. She went to be able to go to see two Benfica games, of course, at the stadium, which is always a memorable and special
And she's a
experience.
Benfica fan,
And
so
of course, she's a strong Benfica fan. Yeah, Benfiquista at heart, and it goes strong within the family. So it's always a special moment for them to go to the stadium and witness a game, especially being such a fan, going there, and then knowing also that like she's put the jersey on and played with, and not in a way, but representing the club that she supports and her family supports. Also, me as a president of JPSC and through our partnership, but more on my personal experiences. Benfica, I have a special connection, and I really love going to the stadium and witnessing all of Benfica's success, which I haven't seen the score, but they're playing right now. Hopefully, they're up ahead
maybe
against
Alec or Nick
Rangers.
can let us
They
know
can
that.
give us an update,
Yeah.
but hopefully they are
Put
up
some fingers
ahead
up for us.
after the 2-2 tie. They won. Let's
Love
go.
that.
So, congrats. That's amazing. Great news for Benfica. Going back to Boavista and the boys. This is now on a personal side. I want to share with them that I'm very proud of all five of them. Their effort, their responsibility, the way they carried themselves throughout the week. We had long days. We had experiences planned for them even before they went to training. The trainings were at like 8:30 at night, so we were getting back, sometimes having dinner at 11:30, almost 12 o'clock at night. Then we had a few different meetings. We spoke about the experience. They shared their feedback with me. But the one thing I will say about all five players that went was they were respectful to the culture. They were respectful to the places that they were staying, respectful to the club, to the coaches, to their peers, their players, but extremely professional. And that's what we need. We need when we have these experiences. When you go into a professional environment, you may not like the answer. You may not like your performance. You may not like that, not performance. I don't like the word performance, but you may not like how you execute it in the training session, or the way that person is or that person. But in a professional environment, you need to be professional. And 14, 13 years old, it's very difficult to be professional because you're not, and you're young, and you have a lot of growing to do. But they embraced the whole experience, whether it was the locker room, the language barrier, showering, um, everything that could have been different for them. They took on everything, and I think it was really helpful that they did it together, so that they did have each other. But it was really, really successful week, and the feedback was so positive that I do anticipate more opportunities for them and other players within JPSC.
Yeah, I think it's a good point that you just made. I think that's what we're trying to do here. I think coming from you and stemming all the way down is we try to conduct ourselves in the most professional way as possible. So the way you show up to practice, how you warm up, your equipment, shoelaces, all that stuff. So it's a shout out to them. It's a shout out to the parents for representing us and making us very proud. So I just, from my point of view, for everyone that went on an international tour or an experience, keep it up, guys. We always say keep going. So keep going. It makes us very proud. I know me and Coach James talk every day about it, whether it's Portugal or Italy or whoever. And so keep going, guys. It's awesome to hear these things and to have Coach James speak so highly of you. It's fantastic, and it makes me proud too. It makes everyone here at JPSC and JPSA very proud. So we'll get more into Karina and the boys that went, because I believe coming up very soon we will be having some special guests join us to give us their feedback on their experiences.
Yeah, I think
So
that's the plan for the next coming episodes, because, like you said, James, what do you want from these kids to experience, or the people to experience? I think we want to hear from the people who experience it themselves, and having players and people that are from the club, and then even outside of the club. That's really the purpose of the podcast that we talked about on the first episode, is how can we continue to educate not just what we're doing within, but also people from the outside, to the people that were there in our community and within the club, to continue to grow, continue to improve, and continue to share the JPSC way and beliefs, and create connections and have opportunities for players. And the international vision is going to continue. And there's definitely so much on this episode that we didn't touch on, and how more things that we've done internationally. And one thing is, as you mentioned, Diogo is coming next Thursday, and that's a vision of ours, is professionals, top professionals from around the world, that, yeah, we don't have a first team of JPSC, but we are going to operate, and JPSC operates as professional as possible. So we need as many professional people coming here, being a part of our mission, and encouraging that mentality, encouraging that way of being, and growth. So from an international experience from us going there, and from internationally people on the outside of USA. We've had people here working within our organization from Canada to Portugal to Italy to Argentina to Uruguay to Brazil, and it goes on and on and on. And I'm forgetting Chile. It goes on of people from around the world, and I'm so proud of that. And that's so important, to show that this is not just only a global game, but a global. We are all working together, and we need to keep expanding, and getting the right people who fit. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of the things that we've done, and I'm actually very excited. I'm excited, Ange, because there's more to do. There's more experiences. There's more things that are coming, that are in the works, and those things not only outside, but not just the people coming here, but the people coming here and what we're going to create here locally too, from an international influence. So all around, super excited.
And I just have a couple more things before we wrap up. So, for families that are interested in doing a tour, how does that come about? Um, how are teams selected? How are players selected? What goes into that process for us as a club?
So we try to identify the best times of the year and also best age groups that would fit within the friendlies or scrimmages or tournaments that we could participate in, and also the availability amongst the families. So as I said, things are growing so much internationally that the availability is very open. It's just managing it at the time frames outside of school and when it matches on the international schedule. I know we're off in the summer, but July is very difficult. So for us, our moments of running these international experiences is the very end of June and the very beginning of July, and then also the middle to end of August. Like those are prime times where we can organize and schedule things. Then during the year, excellent in moments where we have breaks from school. So, like this most recent winter break, we can create opportunities like the the Boa Vista experience for players, and then also an experience tour. Then we also have Easter moment, which is a good one for a competitive tour, which we're not taking advantage of this spring, but 2025, that is the plan. So it really comes down to level and the yearly football schedule, what matches up along with the academics, of course. But when I first mentioned in the earlier in the podcast that we have both on the boys side and girls side, which we've already successfully taken boys and girls to Italy, and we're still pending a girls trip coming up in Portugal 2025.
Great. Answered my next question. What do we have planned for the future? What are these tours looking like? Are there any tours on the horizon? What is your goal? If you have any, I'm pretty sure you do because you're a very prepared individual. You're always 2 or 3 steps ahead of everyone here. So what is next for JPSC with their international experiences and tours?
So international experiences in general from players from JPSC. The next upcoming is 2 players are going to go to the MIC Cup in Spain. 1 player is going to be going to a tour in Italy, and these are with select programs. And then we have Karina going to the Iber Cup. So that's from a player standpoint that we don't run, we don't manage, but of course we're involved in because those players are JPSC players and having
And
these
who are those
experiences.
players going to the?
Manuel Racinos and Zachary Inan, sorry, are going to the MIC Cup in Spain, which they've been identified through the Elite Academy League, which we're in, and they call it the Elite Academy Talent ID team, which out of the in the Florida event, 3 of our 2010 players were identified, which was Emmanuel Racinos, Zachary Inan, and Adrian Vieira. Adrian is already committed to a tournament in Italy with the NEC program, and he's going to go there. And then Karina is going to the Iber Cup. We do have one more player, uh, Jaden, from the 2011s, who
Jaden King.
is Jaden King, who is also selected through the Talent Center and Elite Academy League in Florida. So he's going to the MIC Cup as well. So that from an international players from JPSC. From us managing, we have the 2 tournaments that I mentioned earlier. We're going to go to the Challenge Cup, which we're very excited about. I got a lot of time to spend with Ugo, who is the director of the tournament, when I was just there last week in Boa Vista. And he's super excited. All the teams from around the world. We're going to have our 2010s and 2007s participating in that tournament. And then we're going to have our August Italy tour, which is going to be in Verona. And we'll have a combo of our U13 and U14s that are going to be a part of the Elite Academy League next fall season. So that's the immediate tours, some things that are in the works. We will have our Benfica camp coming up in summer. This will be our 3rd or 4th. I believe it's a 3rd. Experience here, and I believe it's the 4th. I may be mistaken there. I believe it's the fourth.
You got some
Benfica.
fact check there. Fact
Yeah,
check.
we might
Nick,
fact check me,
Nick,
but
Alec, fact check.
they might be too slow on it.
Yeah.
But they will have that, and then to follow, what we're working on is experiences here also. So in communication with Ugo, how can we have a tournament or competition here with international teams coming here, and we host something? This is something that is needs to be developed, and
Early stages. Early
yes,
stages.
very very premature conversations to be had, and there's many more with a older college team potentially going to Portugal, where that is already in the works through JP Stars, and then also professional experiences. So players at an older level that want an experience with a professional team. So there's a lot coming, and a lot, as I said, to be excited about, and we're definitely committed to the global vision, and we're proud of the work that we've done, and determined to keep creating more experiences for the kids here in the academy.
Sounds like you're going to be a very busy man.
We all are going to be busy,
Yep.
my man.
Yep. Exactly.
This is
Just,
not a one person show over here, man. This is and
But-
as I mentioned, man, the reason why I say that is because it's 100% not, and
Yeah.
that's something that, to work well, and this is our philosophy: to work well, you need to work collectively.
Yep.
And we play a collective game. And
Yep.
if we don't play a collective game, then
It's gonna be very difficult.
Exactly, there's going to be a short time frame that you can not only, I don't like the word success, but you can have certain achievements. So collective work, collective and collaboration is within my DNA. It's something that I truly believe in, and I'm super grateful for the people that are involved in all of the operations that we have here at the academy.
Shout out to us. Well, James, thank you for your time. This is fantastic. This is normal to me. We have these conversations pretty much every day. Maybe not as much talking as you do now, as you just did in the podcast, because you're giving everyone a lot of information. A lot of stuff that you said I already know. But I think this was super informative to anyone that wants to experience a tour, that has never gone, that is looking forward to it, and also just to show everyone the doors that I don't like saying we can open, but that we can provide. And I think that's something that it kind of separates us from a lot of different programs. And
Well, we open them.
yeah,
So we open them, and that is our responsibility. So
Mhm.
our club responsibility is to open the door. Theirs is to walk through it.
Yeah.
So the more doors that we can open, and I didn't really mention this in the talk, but beyond the experience, it's close to the same, but it's exposure. The more you're exposed to something new, and it's a challenge, there's growth to be had. So from our side, I'm always talking about uh, become improving and becoming the best that we can be, and we get to define that and be the best club in New York, and this is our focus, and this is how we want to operate things. And one key part there is, where does he need to go? Where does she need to go? How does she need to do this? What does he need to do? And what can we do as a club that's going to aid in that? And as I mentioned, from the Elite Academy League to these Boavista, to these are the doors. These are the doors that we need to keep opening for them.
Well said. Well, again, James, thank you so much. We'll be back together very soon because, like I said earlier, we have three very special guests coming for the next episode.
And those episodes will be up, I think, within due time.
Within due time. But
all right,
it's going to be a lot. I'm super excited for the next episodes. We'll see everyone next time. Thank you so much. And yeah, see you next episode, guys. Take care.